The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Happy Tuesday, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign right here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Bonnie Jill Laughlin, Christy Scales. Ladies, what's up? Yep.
NFL trade deadline. It was a good day.
It was a good day. It was a good day. Well, around the NFL.
Well, for the Commanders.
That part. I know.
Subjective.
Come on now. Sorry.
M-I-N-G-O. M-I-N-G-O. M-I-N-G-O.
He's lost in every category.
Mingo is his name.
That was a good one, Christy.
There you go.
I like that. Trade deadline has now come to an end. It is 4 o'clock Central Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, and the Cowboys so far have released Andrew Booth. They have released Jordan Phillips, but they have received Jonathon Mingo and a 7th-round pick, and they had to, of course, give up a 4th-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ladies, let's start there. With Jonathon Mingo now suiting up as a Dallas Cowboy. He was a Carolina Panther. He has 2 years left on his contract. You look at his size, 6'2",
That's a good thing.
220. What could he bring to this Dallas Cowboys organization? And actually, no, I'm going to go to you because you actually saw him and you know.
You've scouted him, yeah.
There you go.
Well, first of all, let me say that, this is random. I was not expecting this. I don't know if anyone expected this, but when you talk about the player, he's young, very young, early in his career. We obviously know all the things that's been going on down there in Carolina, the quarterback issues, all those different things. I want to say all those things before I say anything else about him because I think it's important to talk about. I know a lot of people are like, well, what is this and why is this pick, whatever. He's young. He wasn't in that good of a situation. I'm not sure if I agree with the 4th.
Yeah.
But this gentleman did have some promising tape from Ole Miss. This is a guy he used his size very well. He has fairly strong hands. He's pretty strong at the point of contact. He had some trouble with that in Carolina. I got to watch a few games before I got here. This isn't a gentleman that's going to create a lot of separation, but he's very tough. He will block on the outside. He's been making a lot of his money on special teams as of late. But, yeah, I mean, as far as the receiving aspect goes, it's a bigger body. Like I said, strong hands, strong at the point of contact for the most part. He has run-after-catch ability. You can line him up outside. You can do some things with him in the slot, but I do think he creates more separation on the outside. Schematically, I don't know where he fits right now, but I do see the promise in the player, and I'm going to be optimistic about whatever he brings here in Dallas.
Well, let me ask you two ladies, do y'all agree with this trade, or do you feel like they could have maybe done a little something different?
Well, I think we all probably agree with Aisha about the 4th-round pick, a guy
concern.
who has one catch in a month. Did he really... 4.
It was 14 catches all season.
So.
I mean,
But Carolina offense, I know.
No, they gave up a 4th based on, I think, what they thought of him at the draft.
Right, because he went to Carolina in the 2nd round, and the Cowboys liked him.
Yeah. And that's what, that. I think that's why, I think the Cowboys, again, Jerry mentioned on the radio today, they had this guy probably pretty high up on their board. They saw an opportunity to get him, and they decided that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest picture is that the fact that he's in that really struggling Carolina offense, I think, what can he do maybe here and be better, only being, season and a half in, that maybe that there's an upside to his game.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's it's cheap labor because when you draft a guy high in the 2nd round, that team, Carolina, paid the big bonus. So he's only in his 2nd year. So I see this as not something just for, hey, we need some immediate help because we're not sure about CD's shoulder and Brandon Cooks is still on IR. This is for the next couple of years because you're going to have him under control,
Right, and that's
at
why,
a
like when
cheap
Nicole
rate.
said, 2 more seasons.
Yeah, 2 more seasons,
And that's great.
so I think it's looking ahead. And in regards to, I think Aisha's right. This guy isn't a burner that you're going to send on a bunch of 9 routes. But if he's a bigger, stronger body who can make a contested catch and run these intermediate routes and some slants, hey,
Yeah,
all
some
for it.
Deep overs. I know people have talked about. Just some of the stuff that when you look at his college tape and some of the things he did, not comparing him at all to a Debo. However, you see some of the vision of the things out the backfield, just getting the ball in his hands, not super duper route runny guy, but can do some things in the open field, breaking some tackles and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I mean,
Debo,
I see.
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, that's kind of what people parallel to him. His actual comparison was Ryan Florno, but we're not going to do that today. There's similarities in their game, but we're not going to go there. But yeah, I'm not okay with the 4th. I mean, and I say that just from a draft philosophy, man. Like, I'm telling y'all, the last 2 years I've done the draft. The day, like when they're going into that 4th round on that day 2, is it day 2, day 3? Day 3? Is it 3?
Third day.
Day 3.
Sorry.
When you get up in the morning, you can just feel the prosperity in the air because the 4th round is that weird round where guys fall or guys end up being there that maybe they're still good. Maybe they got in trouble for something or something. Like, it is such a rich part of the draft. And unless they see something in the future with this kid, I don't get it.
Well, I think that, and I'm not saying that I agree with a 4th round pick either. I think that what they were thinking about was the compository picks that they do get from Tyler Biotish, Dorrance,
4/5,
Tyron
right?
Smith. Yeah. 4/5. I think so. I think that's something that they were kind of thinking about. Again, I don't necessarily agree with the 4th round pick either, but I mean, you look at what something that I kind of looked at, even though it's not much film on him, granted, but something that I also noticed is that you can also kind of use him in the deep ball game as well. He's got some speed, which is something that you expected Turpin to be. He's kind of like a mix of like Tolbert because of the size and a bunch of different guys. So who does this put on alert though? When you think about the receivers who really haven't stepped up.
Aisha, question. He can play in the backfield a little bit.
I think he's capable of doing it. You didn't see him do it much here in Carolina.
But maybe he can do it here.
Yeah, he definitely is capable of doing things like that. He did a little bit of it in college. But to answer your question, I don't believe anyone's on the chopping block. I think that this is, to Christy's point, something to a gentleman to add to this roster for possibly next year. It's an opportunity, just like Trey Lance, to get a guy that they were high on, that they saw an opportunity to get out of a situation that they deem as bad.
Stop.
And to, get him here on this roster. I don't think that I don't think it puts anyone on the chopping block because, quite honestly, with what's going on with this coaching staff and you not knowing who's going to be here next year or not, baby, everybody's on the chopping block.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this was a scouts decision, front office, let's just go get the kid. I don't think it has any bearing on where you are right now. I think, to your point, it's next year.
And I also think that it's not, I think it's viewed by media and skeptical fans that today's the trade deadline and Jerry's going to do something just for the sake of doing it. And
I get that's what it feels like.
I know that's what it feels like, but what we're talking about with a guy further, that you can have in-house and has potential and you liked him before, I think this isn't just some kind of desperation move and Jerry trying to appease, throw meat to the, to the lions. It's not like that. It's we think that
There's
this
some
guy
future and can develop them better than Carolina could.
and the fact, I know that some people are like, why are they bemoaning a 4th round pick? Who cares? The Cowboys have had success with 4th round picks. Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, the Tony Pollards of the world.
Yeah. There's a lot of good picks that come out of the 4th round.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you think something that Mike McCarthy had said yesterday is that it's not necessarily based off the position of need. They just want to get better. That's something that they kind of are focusing on. Do you feel like this team got better today?
That's for immediate for the next few weeks.
Yes.
Before you.
I don't think he'll be ready to play this week.
Before you fall, I think he'll probably play.
You think so?
Oh,
you
yeah.
think
Probably.
You think he'll be ready?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, a lot of we've seen the other players that have been traded play the same week.
Yeah,
you know?
It would be a
but-
limited pack. You're not going to you probably would have a couple of personnel groupings where you feel confident that there's a few things that you're not going to throw the whole playbook at him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays.
To be determined.
Be good.
Yeah, but did
I hope it makes us
you
better.
get better? I don't know if you got better in the next few weeks, that in this really tough stretch that you stay in contention, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to this move. And then the guys that you shed today with Andrew Booth and Jordan Phillips, you were getting nothing out of them because Andrew Booth was inactive the past few weeks. Heck, they elevated Josh Butler from the practice squad on Saturday to play in Atlanta in favor of Andrew Booth, who was already on the 53-man roster and has been inactive. And then Jordan Phillips, who you made the trade back in August to get him from the Giants.
He's not the same
and
player
he only
was.
played, what, 30 snaps, 34 snaps this year, and has been inactive. I know, the wrist injury, but
Disappointment, though.
yeah, the thing about that is when you trade for a veteran player and he's on the 53-man roster on week one, then you pay his base salary for the whole year. So you paid $1.2 million for 34 snaps, and you didn't get your money out of
Yeah,
that.
you did not.
Who replaces? I mean, I know that he hasn't really been productive, Jordan Phillips, but
Since week 2.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Linval's been getting, he rotates in. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, why do they do this to us?
Stop. All right. Still staying with the wide receiver position. Let's go around and evaluate the wide receiver room so far through the first 9 weeks, technically going into the 10th week of the season. Let's talk about Jalen Tolbert. What have you seen from him? What do you dislike? What more do you need from him? And I'm going to just lob that up. Whoever wants to catch it.
More opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people are upset about the lack of production from Jalen Tolbert and some of the things that are going on, but it's like there are so many other things going on with this offense right now. I don't think that I can't fairly evaluate him right now.
But with the opportunities he has had, do you feel like he's taken advantage of them? He's done something with them?
I mean, from the receptions he's had with Dak Prescott and some of the things he's done in scramble drills, some of the plays he's made, I mean, I just don't know how much improvement we expect to see with what is going on with this offense right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's stepped up this season, though, especially in the Pittsburgh game and times where he has had the opportunity. But I don't think there's times where we see him open in the flat and he's sitting there. I think there could be opportunities and more targets his way. I mean, he hasn't maybe shown exactly what we need yet, but I mean, I'm not completely down on Jalen.
Well, yeah, he's not. Well, the thing about him, too, though, is that, Jalen Tolbert he's been a good route runner. He's never been a big separator.
Yeah, well, most of
and
those
I
guys,
think we're seeing some of that within the scheme, but also too just with how defenses are playing you. It's this whole wide receiver core, unless you're CeeDee Lamb, depending on where they line him up at. And the only reason why he's able to get the ball the way that he is because they can manipulate putting him in the slot, putting him on the outside, and finding mismatches. But for everyone else, it's kind of like, get in where you fit in, unless you're overloading Jake Ferguson to start the game this past week. They're one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So how do
That
we
is true.
evaluate this passing offense fairly right now?
That is true.
Yeah, because when you say Jalen Brooks, I think we're going to say the same thing in terms of creating separation.
Yeah.
That's with all of them.
And then the times that he has had the opportunity to step up. I mean, I thought Jalen Brooks made a heck of a grab last week. He's had a couple of grabs like that, through the season. And I will say specifically for him, it has to be hard because he's cold. Half the time he's not out there, and then they're like, "Go out there. We need you on a third down." Like, what is going on here? So I mean, in fairness, I just don't know how to be fair with evaluating them.
What about Kevontae Turpin?
Well, in special
As a-
teams, we know.
as a whole.
Can you please share, Nicole, what Cavante? I know you're asking about wide
yeah.
receiver.
Oh, yeah, talk about
but there
that.
was
That was
some
good.
gold last
yeah.
night
Yeah.
from Cavante Turpin on the
Yes.
Cowboys Hour,
Yeah.
and it had more to do with punt returns. But I think it's important to see the ball as well, not only on punt and kickoff returns, but when it's thrown your direction. So what's the word on that?
Yeah, so we were asking him about, he had mentioned that he feels like his vision has improved as far as being a returner. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what do you feel like has gone into your vision improving? He goes, oh, well, I can see now.
What?
Me and Brad looking at each other like, you can see now? What do you mean you couldn't see? And he was like, yeah, this is my first year wearing contacts.
There we go.
Dude, you was out there just playing blind. He was like, yeah, it was blurry. I just had to rely on my instincts.
Wow.
What?
Well, that makes
Crazy
sense.
work. I was impressed.
I remember my first year on the sideline, back in '99, I was shocked that so many guys wear contacts on the field. And, a lot of them, 8 men, a lot of them. But anyway, and now, actually, one of my favorite stories is Emmitt Smith comes over to the sideline. It's during a game, and I'd seen it before where guys had contacts pop out.
That happens,
and so
yeah.
people are looking down on the field like, okay, we got to find the contact. And it's really funny when you have the big guy, you're like their hands are taped up, and so you really have to trust the athletic trainer when they're the ones putting the contact in for the guys.
Wow.
So anyway, everyone's around Emmitt looking around on the ground. I'm like, oh, he must have had a contact pop out. I didn't realize that Emmitt wore contacts. He didn't. He doesn't. But his diamond ear stud had popped out, and everyone's looking on the field for his diamond ear stud. They found it. I was hoping that he'd have to run back on the field, and everyone would run out there, and maybe I'd find a diamond. But anyway.
Now maybe I found
Yeah.
a diamond.
I like that story.
But no, going back to the convo, what do y'all think about Cavante Turpin? Do you feel like he has took a step forward at that wide receiver room? He's getting more opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Yeah.
even Dak said that he calls him their secret weapon. So there's times where I think they really can rely on him, and I think his confidence is built as well.
Yeah, that
from
was
that.
going into the bye week,
Remember he
right?
said
Where Dak said, the secret weapon. I think there were a couple of times where he had an opportunity to make a huge play. I'm
course,
thinking of
there's
the
a
one
couple
down the
times.
sideline
Yeah.
and where it went through the hands, and he wasn't able to secure it. So I don't know if he talked about those plays in particular last night, Nicole, but I think that there
tried to stay away
have
from
been there have been a couple plays left out on the field that are tough.
Yes.
I mean, they're tough plays. I'm not saying they're easy plays, and they're not drops, but it's like, man, there were a couple times it's like, golly, it was just so close and didn't.
And
didn't
Brady
come
will
through.
say it's because of his size, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's because of his size, but I will say with Cavante Turpin, he did some receiver things when he was at TCU, but he didn't do as much when he was there. And so, coming into the NFL, he is essentially kind of learning receiver-esque things. And so with him, I've been focusing on his calmness, like how because when you're that fast, it is hard to play under control. Like, I know a lot of guys, we see a lot of guys that are fast, but not football fast. To be football fast and play under control and to go in and out of your routes, to be smooth in your releases, all those things, the route running from him has improved. It is what he does at the catch point and things like that, how he catches, hand catching, those things that he's still working on. So I do think that he has improved as far as even there was one game where he's even getting a feel for how to sit in zones now and stuff like that. But I'm looking for him to just be better at, again, and some people will say it's because of the size and stuff like that. I say it's just because of the technique and just the mechanics of being a receiver and learning how to be a receiver.
Yeah.
Which means he's only getting better.
Yeah, is the hand catching and to not catching with his body and stuff like that. And I also understand, though, that he does kind of shield himself. And Brandon Cooks does this as well, where they shield themselves. And when you're a smaller frame guy, it's normal to do that. It's not easy to do, to learn how to, secure yourself, but also catch with your hands and hold on to the football.
He did talk about that yesterday. He feels like his route running hasn't been the best, but he feels like it's improving. And someone who's been helping him with that is CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, good.
He's also been helping him with learning how to read defenses a lot better. So
That's cool.
yeah, that
I
was
like
a cool
that.
little nugget as well. All right, CeeDee Lamb, what y'all like from him? Of course, we see that the chemistry from him and Dak didn't start clicking until about 2 games ago.
Yeah,
But
that's my main thing. That was my main take.
Well, and that's what's interesting because it wasn't clicking the first several weeks, and yet if you look at the stats,
it looks like
he
it
was
is.
ahead of what he was at this point in 2023, and I was surprised by that because I thought, man, this is going to be. And obviously, it was coming out of the bye last week when they changed last year when they changed a lot of things with the offense, where he and Dak really took off. But I was surprised to see that his numbers so far this year exceed what they were the previous year.
Well, it's because they've been playing from behind, and in those
True.
moments, Dax has been having to rely on CeeDee Lamb to bail him out of those situations. So, all right, tight end evaluation. Let's go with Luke Schoonmaker.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what he's done to anger people. No. He had 2 snaps at San Francisco, and he had 1 offensive snap in Atlanta. And he's still playing special teams. We know he had that holding penalty on the long kickoff return
3
that negated
snaps
along
over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so they're using Brevin Spanford, the rookie, in favor of Schoonmaker. So, not not good.
Yeah, and Schottenheimer said he said he's been too inconsistent to see the field consistently.
Yeah.
And that he needs to build confidence.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we were talking about last year and coming into this year with confidence that, he didn't get the training camp last year or the off season. You go into your rookie season, and even though he played all the games, he didn't have the work going into it. So it was almost, I won't say incomplete for his rookie season. And then he had, I think it was the shoulder this off season and missed part of the off season work. But yeah, I mean, very, very disappointing for Luke Schoonmaker, especially when he's such a high pick and it's not paying off.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know what to say because when players come in and they're drafted in and stuff, I know people are hard on them typically with their evaluations. I always give guys a chance to show me. He hasn't shown me much of anything. And the saddest part about it is specifically is that this guy, even though we knew like the receiving aspect of it was something that he didn't really get to do much in Michigan because of how they were able to run the ball.
Yeah, so much.
I was looking at him as a blocker, and you can't even count on him for that right now. And that ties into, when you talk about the tight ends, you got to talk about the run game as well. Is that you haven't gotten good enough blocking on the outside from them. That's why Hunter Lipke is out there. And at this point, with what's happening with Schoonmaker, just give those snaps. I would give those snaps to Lipke as a tight end.
I agree.
I would not, at this point, Jake Ferguson does need some support in that room. And if no one else is going to give it to him consistently, I do like some of the things I have seen them try with Brevin Spanford, just trying him in the red zone and things like that. He also, too, came from a program, heavy run. He didn't get the opportunity to be a receiver like that, but with his frame, it could be helpful in the red zone. But other than that, girl, like, this tight end room has disappointed the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because it's not often on a team, like a tight end 2 position on most NFL teams is a big deal. It's a big deal because if you're going to run the ball, if you're going to go into bigger formations, 21-12, these type of things, having that second tight end on the field is helpful. And the Cowboys they can do it. It's not threatening unless it's Jake Ferguson. And that's a prize. I mean, it takes so much out of your playbook, not having another tight end that's a receiving threat even a little bit or can block on the outside, and it puts a lot of pressure on Jake Ferguson. So this whole tight end room has, quite frankly, ticked me off.
Let me ask y'all something.
I'm sorry.
Because you mentioned Hunter Lipke should be getting more tight end snaps, which he has been. Do you feel like it's too late for Luke Schoonmaker to try to solidify himself that he can be the tight end number 2? Or do you feel like it's Hunter Lipke should be the guy?
Well, Lipke, just so everyone knows, I mean, Lipke, listed as fullback or running back, but what he does is he, in addition to his time in the running back meeting rooms, which he does, he's not missing running back meetings, but he's doing extra work, also sitting in the tight end meetings on Wednesdays and then on Saturday mornings. So Lipke is doing double duty.
Smart player.
Yeah,
Smart
like that.
player,
Yeah.
smart player,
Exactly.
and obviously a committed player.
Committed,
with
yeah.
that extra time. I think the thing with Schoonmaker is, especially, it's the physical, it's the blocking, right? You don't get to practice. I mean, you practice the fundamentals and you go through the plays and walkthroughs, but you don't get to do the physical things during the week. You only get 14 padded practices in an 18-week season. And even when it's a padded practice, you're not hitting each other. It's not contact. So he's going to have to prove in practice that he can do it and be consistent, and yet you don't really get
It's
to
a chance to show
practice.
that.
So I won't say catch 22, but yeah, it's going to be tough for him to re-earn that trust.
You got anything?
Right. Only thing I noticed is I think that with his size, we thought he'd be more physical to be able to get open. We haven't really seen that as well, because I thought that he would be able to create that and be that Kittle type or Kelsey Younger, being able to with his size, and I haven't seen that yet. Again, I haven't seen him enough, but that's what I was hoping.
I think we have seen him enough.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not saying, and again, like, one thing about Schoonmaker is, yes, he
I guess I'm
has-
thinking more of this season.
Yeah, no, he was here last season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe
Yeah,
this season
I mean-
I'm wanting to see a little bit more if he's
Because
improved.
that's what I'm saying. Like, 2 years of
Yeah.
film is enough for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, this scheme with Mike McCarthy, it does involve your tight ends. Like, it took them a little while last year to figure out Jake Ferguson, I think, because he is unique because of his receiver-esque qualities, the yak ability and stuff. I do think you have to figure out things that work for him. But as far as Schoonmaker, most of Mike McCarthy's systems are tight ends are involved. So this is like I'm telling you, y'all, like, this is a prime opportunity for one of these young guys, and you just waiting. We've been waiting since camp for someone to take
Step
it,
up, yeah.
and no one has. So I'm
Yeah, and
John.
John Phillips with the being on IR and everything. So
which is disappointing because Luna does a great job with these guys.
All right,
so.
we're going to go ahead and take our first break because we went long. I'm sorry,
Oh,
ladies.
Barnabas.
All right, we'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
The Cowboys Now app. Stay connected with the Dallas Cowboys on your connected TV. Catch up on all Cowboys content like player interviews, weekly TV shows, podcasts, docuseries like Deep Blue, and much, much more. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.
All right, go ahead and download because we got all the fire content on all those apps. All right. We didn't get a chance to talk about the defense performance from Week 9 against the Falcons. Would y'all say that they somewhat improved? They didn't improve a lot. I'm not going to say that. But when you, in terms of big picture, they went from averaging or allowing an average of 462 yards. They only gave up 310. Again, not a number you want to see. As far as getting pressure, you saw a little bit of opportunities there where they took advantage.
I think they did.
The run game certainly took a step forward. Where would you say they took the most, I guess?
Well, I like seeing that. Then the first time I think this Cowboys this season, they actually didn't allow any points on the opening drive, right? So that was was nice to see finally.
Yep.
And just to see, I mean, I don't know about y'all, I got really excited seeing Carl Lawson, off the edge and just getting 2 sacks. I was like, yes, someone's stepping up. We talked about this last week, so I don't know if he continues to do that, but it shows some promise. I feel like the guys you saw them getting jacked up. Donovan Wilson, they're doing the bowling ball pin thing, and they just seem like I saw a little bit more camaraderie and something clicked there. I don't know if it carries on, but I saw something.
It was better, but we're doing. No, it was much better.
Okay, maybe I was overly positive, but I saw something.
No, there were positives, but.
Yeah, it's still not the performance you want to see from defense.
I know you're asking about the positives, but when Mike Zimmer on Monday says that there are 15 missed tackles.
Yeah.
And let's not all blame it on Kalen Carson and a bad shoulder. Yeah. But I'm not trying to jump the gun here.
I was trying to start with the positives first.
That's what I'm saying.
I was trying to be excited.
I'm trying to be positive there.
I was trying to be very positive, Christy.
Yeah, and Demo. No, there were positives, but yes, the pass rush was better.
Yeah,
the pass rush was better.
Christy's over it. Sorry.
And here comes Aisha. Here we go.
Did you have anything? Is there anything positive?
Look, I was trying to help you. Get to the negative.
No, there were positives.
I wanted to start, up here and then just slowly.
And then Aisha will take me to reality.
Down.
They forced a turnover.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yep. That's what we're excited these days.
They forced a turnover, sister. I think individually there were some good things that we saw. Absolutely. I thought Mike Zimmer did some things early in that game just to try to bring pressure in some unique ways to kind of slip up their offensive line and stuff like that. But to your point, 310 is I think 300 is kind of like where you want to keep it at. So 310 is not bad to hold Bijan to what they did. There was to Bonnie Jill's point, there was an energy, and these guys did play with energy. Their offense just left them out to dry.
Yeah.
I thought the defense did, specifically in that first half, too. They did more than enough to put the offense in a position to be able to score and to do some things. Dallas could have taken advantage. Dallas could have made that game a 2-possession game going into the half. So as far as the defense goes, Zimmer is working with – He's working with having a lot of pieces not there, and they still were able to find some success. I will say, even with what's going on the offensive side of the ball and all the injuries, if Carl Lawson is going to play better football like that, if Oso Odighizu is going to play football like that, if DeMarvion Overshown is going to play football like that, I do think that gives your front seven a boost if you are going to get a Micah Parsons back at some point in time. So there were some positives to take from this game, and I think they're mostly on the defensive side.
Yeah, and I did think of a positive. I mentioned it yesterday.
Thank you, Chris.
No, I was still upset from the 15 missed tackles, and we did mention it yesterday, the defense got 2 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter and set up the offense to have a game-winning drive.
And that
the
was
offense didn't get it.
Yeah.
So 2, 3, that's all you get. And guess what? They did the same thing against San Francisco.
Yes, they did.
And gave the Cowboys offense a chance to win the game at the end in the fourth quarter. So as bad as the third quarter has been, you mentioned it was a good first half for the defense in Atlanta, but that's all you can ask of your defense is to give your offense a chance to win, and they stood up when it mattered in the fourth quarter.
Do you feel like this is, at least it's something to build off of?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heck
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Specifically I'll say specifically with Carl Lawson, Matthews, the left tackle for Atlanta, isn't nobody to snuff at. He has his few issues and stuff like that, but he is considered one of the better tackles in the NFL, and he took him to church a couple of times out there. And so seeing him, maybe getting his legs under him to this point and showing off some of the explosiveness was helpful. But yeah, I mean, some of the uses of DeMarvion Overshown, I've seen him. He's drawing double teams out here in these streets. I mean, there's some things that you can take from this, and I do think if you were to get a Micah back, you do have a few rushers on this defensive line that may be able to cause some disruption moving forward.
I think DeMarvion Overshown is just special because he's going to play regardless, and that's how he's been all year long. So I love to see him perform like that the way he did on Sunday. But now let's go to the negatives. All right, we talk about the miscommunication in the secondary, specifically that 4th and 3 play. It was a Mooney touchdown, wide open. How do you fix miscommunications issues like that?
Well, that was the one where Trayvon got caught in the thing.
Each other.
So that's also a thing where when you're in the secondary, and linebackers too, but you can't all be in a straight line horizontally across the field. You know, you stagger, and they weren't staggered. And so when Trayvon's going across, he gets caught up in the other. So, and also went into it instead of going over the top, but it had to do with where they started with it, with the alignment. So I'm sure that it's very frustrating because these are things that are correctable, just like missed tackles, right?
And that's awareness too.
Yeah.
Like I would expect you're right, Christy, but I would expect more awareness from a Trayvon Diggs there.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be on Jordan Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, to communicate that, right?
Oh, to him to stagger.
To stagger.
They big boys and they.
That's how I would think they'd know that. Yeah.
Big boys and girls, like they shouldn't. I mean, so I get what you're saying, and that's why Mike Zimmer said, ask them. They was in
Do
man
your job,
coverage.
yeah.
You're in man coverage.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as the rest of the defense, and you're talking about the communication issues, I think that a lot of this has to do, and I'm gonna say this, I've said it before.
Yeah.
Your safeties are doing things they have never done before. This is a new scheme. Like, they're playing more too high than I've seen Donovan Wilson or Malik Hooker play in their dang career to this point. I'm lying. Malik Hooker played too high when he was with the Colts. He did. But here in Dallas, some of this stuff is different. So I do think some of the spacing, the communication, where you need to be and stuff is getting mixed in the shuffle. But credit to Atlanta. They did their job. Like, that's a lot of it is some of their motions, their shifts and stuff. That's why you see guys miscommunicating. That's why you see guys running into each other. That is also, too, good play calling on the other side, and your defense has to be able to hold serve.
All right, well, we're going to take our next break. We only got a few minutes left, ladies, so had to let us go. All right, we'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk after the break.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Ready for the Christmas extravaganza. The most electrifying event of the holiday season is here, right here at the Cowboys Star. Christmas extravaganza, powered by Reliant, is back at the Star in Frisco. Join us every Friday and Saturday night from November 22nd through December 21st for a spectacular holiday show with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, rhythm and blues, rowdy Santa Claus, and surprise tree lighting appearances from your favorite Cowboy heroes. Best of all, the show is free. For details, visit thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on the holiday magic.
Y'all ready for Christmas?
Oh my gosh!
The lights be so pretty down here.
I saw them already putting up the tree when I was driving.
Yeah, that I love the Christmas show. They do a great job.
Thanksgiving gets screwed. They just get.
Baby, I don't know who's skipping Thanksgiving because I'm not.
Right there.
It's on my list.
I love
can't
Thanksgiving.
even see Christmas. I don't even care what y'all talking about. I want food.
Thanksgiving's your favorite holiday?
Yeah, I like family time.
So do I. And it's not about giving anything. It's all just like being grateful.
I'm a sucker for family time.
You don't spend family time for Christmas?
My
Not
family
as much?
don't do the Christmas. So I just love Thanksgiving. Yeah, but I like all the lights and stuff at Christmas. I want to go see the lights this year.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, real fast. It's no Christmas here for the Dallas Cowboys because they're banged up. We know the injuries. Deron Bland, don't know the status there. Well, we do know the status there. We're hoping he's back soon. Michael Parsons still banged up. DeMarcus Lawrence still banged up. We got CeeDee Lamb now looking to play on Sunday. We'll see. Dak Prescott on IR.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on. But then you look at this Philadelphia Eagles
who's
team.
injured?
We got Saquon Barkley, questionable. A.J. Brown, questionable. Dallas Goedert, questionable. That's just the offense. So
and they're playing without their left tackle, Jordan Mailata. He's been on injured reserve and missed a few games now.
That's
so
important.
They're doing
key pieces.
Yeah,
key pieces there. All right, Christy, I'm going to hand it over to you because who has the advantage now when you talk about two teams that are banged the hell up?
Well, it's still the Eagles because of their rushing attack.
Yep.
And Saquon, it was actually that fantastic play where he jumped backwards over the guy. It's amazing. But he went over to the sideline after that. And, I mean, he came back in the game and finished with just a fantastic game. And catching the catch that he made, even before that backwards leap, was a fantastic touchdown catch. But him being questionable, I can't imagine that he's going to miss the game Sunday.
Yeah.
And with A.J. Brown, without him, that's pretty tough. But I think Philly still has the knee.
Yeah, they said
knee
he avoided
injury.
anything serious, but
as to whether he's going to be able to play
That's
Sunday
two weapons.
is the question. Yeah. So, but when you're down, possibly your top wide receiver in Brown, you're without your top tight end in Goddard and Calcaterra. He's played very well for them in place of Goddard. But if Saquon Barkley is banged up a little bit or limited at all, I think the bigger thing is people overlook Mailata, and he is one of the better tackles in the league.
Absolutely.
And so that can help with the Cowboys' pass rush. But I'm still concerned about stopping that run. And Jalen Hurts, he's still such a threat, right? Running
the ball. Yeah. I mean, but we look at like the 49ers, they were really banged up, and I feel like we didn't capitalize on that. So I don't know if it really matters that the team is banged up or not, because I feel like we have so many missing pieces right now. Sorry, Aisha, is that bad?
No, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it don't matter. I will say both of these teams don't really like each other like that, so we probably will see a competitive game regardless.
Yeah.
This is a divisional game.
But we can win this game.
I think it's doable.
I'm going to say it's doable.
Here's the thing
and
about
the
the
Cooper
Eagles.
Rush may change something up. I don't know. Let's see.
The Eagles scored in the first quarter, in their win over Jacksonville
they
on
doing that
Sunday.
thing again?
It's the first time they've scored in the first quarter this year.
Oh yeah, they doing that thing again where they pick a half to score, and
Yeah.
they do this almost every
Yeah.
other year. They're like 1 year they're really good in the first, they terrible in the second. They flip flop.
So they absolutely dominated Jacksonville in the first half. Jacksonville only had like 34 yards on offense in the first half.
Oh, yeah, I saw
and
that.
then in the second half, they absolutely let Jacksonville in that game. They should have buried them.
What you saying?
And a couple of turnovers and special teams.
What you saying? You saying letting go of a lead with the LC over there? A lead against Jacksonville.
Okay.
That sounds so familiar. I feel like I've experienced the Cowboys giving up a lead against Jacksonville out of nowhere.
You know what? I'm sick of you. All right. On that note, we'll be back here tomorrow with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign at 4 p.m. tomorrow. We'll see y'all then.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,